So Morrison is a pretty kind of a quiet, a little bit maybe lesser known area in Denver, especially for people that aren't from here. But maybe you do know about Morrison, and if you do, I'm wondering if it might be because of what's located in Morrison, which happens to be one of my favorite places in all of Denver, all the world for that matter, and that's Red Rocks Amphitheatre. If you guys like live music and you haven't been to Red Rocks, you're missing out. You need to crawl out from under that rock you've been under and definitely check out a concert at Red Rocks, because it is the best venue in the country. I think it's the best venue in the entire world. I actually used to work there in high school and college selling lemonades, and then once I hit 21, I sold vodka lemonades with a couple other friends there, and saw so many shows there as a child and growing up and getting into my adulthood, and I still try and at least go to 1 or 2 a year today. So definitely cool to have that right next to you when you live in Morrison. So talking though a little bit more about the 4 aspects with Morrison, the first one being the setting and environment. So when it comes to the setting of Morrison, it is really tucked up right up against the foothills. Morrison is, an area that's small in size, but definitely has some really cool areas once you start diving into it a little bit more and exploring. So when it comes to the setting and the environment, definitely very good when it comes to easy access to the mountains. When you look at the area, for example, where Red Rocks Amphitheatre is located, there's a ton of great hiking, really good mountain biking as well. So when you live in Morrison, you have those types of activities to enjoy that sometimes could just be accessed by leaving your front door, hopping on your mountain bike, and you're in these areas from your front door. So talk about just easy accessibility and being able to actually follow through and do these things, because it is really, there's no excuse. Since it is so close and so easy to achieve, just you make it happen. So really good when it comes to that aspect of Morrison. But now I want to talk a little bit more about daily living. And with daily living, what I love is you have actually areas in Morrison that are very close to the downtown Morrison area. There's a few different restaurants, some bars, a few really cool kind of local restaurants. There's a really good one that has Eastern European food that we've gone to over the years with my family. Really good pizza places, just some very well-known, very highly rated places, restaurants. But since it is a little farther removed from most of Denver, you just don't have nearly the amount of people traveling to Morrison like you would places like Golden. So definitely a much more smaller feel when comparing it to Golden, but some people really like that. You really do feel a little bit more in the mountains when you live in Morrison in comparison, again, to places like maybe even Golden. One other thing I'd like to share before moving on, if you look at it on a map, Morrison is actually kind of in the middle, right between the North Ranch at Ken Carroll, which is a little bit further south of Morrison, and then if you go north of Morrison, you hit Golden. So, as you can notice, obviously all 3 of these are on the western side of town, since the whole video is about being close to the mountains and enjoying that active mountain lifestyle. But just to kind of put things in perspective, Morrison is smack dab in the middle between the other 2. So when it comes to convenience of accessibility to parts of Denver, Morrison probably will be the best bet. It'll be very similar to North Ranch when it comes to accessing C470, and then from there accessing all of the western and southern side of Denver. But overall, guys, just want to make the point that when it comes to the daily living with Morrison, you do have a lot right at your fingertips, and it's not nearly as maybe far removed as some people might think. And then to take that just a step further, talking now again a little bit more about convenience. When it comes to the airport, you're looking at, nothing crazy, maybe about 45 minutes. But when you're looking at downtown Denver, you're also a little bit closer and easier, assuming the weather's good and the roads aren't bad, where it's going to be about 25 to 30 minutes to downtown Denver. So a lot of people that reach out to me and talk to me about location and proximity to things, 30 minutes tends to be kind of the window for a lot of us. If it's under 30 minutes, that's acceptable. So with Morrison, the fact that this is within 30 minutes, that might, be enough to change somebody's opinion on if this really, maybe at first they thought it was too far removed from town, where at second glance, maybe it's actually something worth looking into. So definitely really cool area when you look at Morrison. And when it comes to the last thing I want to share, which is just number 4, the home styles and what buyers can expect in Morrison, you might be kind of getting a theme here that I shared with you about Golden. Inventory is also fairly limited, and that's not just because of it being in an area that few people kind of want to leave, because once they get there they want to stay in Morrison. But again, it's such a small area. When looking at it on a map, there aren't a ton of options. Now, Morrison does have some areas that are starting to get a little bit more developed. There's some new construction communities going up. There's also actually a new redevelopment of the area that was formerly Bandimere Speedway. Bandimere Speedway was this awesome racetrack for drag racing and top fuel type vehicles, where very fast, very loud, it was really fun to visit and go to a few of these competitions or shows over the years, but now is being relocated to a different part of the state. So that's going to all now be redeveloped as well. So there are going to be some new options coming available in the next, few years in the Morrison area. So worth, thinking about that and having at least that maybe on your radar if you're not looking right now. So Morrison's definitely, though, a great area to consider. If you guys are golfers, there's also some really good golf courses in the Morrison area. So definitely, worth looking into that a little bit too. Red Rocks Country Club is one that I personally really like, and it's maybe one you might want to look at yourselves.